Hey everyone, welcome back to the Workin' Dirt channel and the LJ Hemi Swap build series. Last episode we were making room in our shop to work on the frame, and in this episode we're going to be removing the brackets and showing you a couple different methods. This can always be a tricky subject because there's many different ways, but hopefully with a few tips and tricks I show you, you can get it done effectively and efficiently, so stick around. Alright guys, welcome back. You missed the hardest part of today, which was actually making time for working on this frame. But we're going to always make time. And so today, we're going to be getting rid of the brackets that we don't need, which are the upper and lower control arm brackets in the front and back. They left the upper ones on the old frame because you can actually still have room for them with the new long arm kit. But we do not like to carry extra weight. And we want more freedom to put our hands in. We're going to get rid of these old motor mounts so we can put the new motor mounts in. And we're going to be using a plasma cutter because that's more fun than a cutoff wheel and I think a little less messy. So we're going to show you how we're going to gouge these welds off and then cut them or finish prying them off and blending the metal and making it nice and try not to hurt the existing frame. Starting to cut off these brackets, you have two options. Like I said, you can use a cutoff wheel on a peanut grinder or angle grinder, and you can use the 1/16 inch thickness wheel, and these work really good, but like I said, they're going to be real messy and you're going to want to get close to the frame and try not to go in the frame. Or you can use an 1/8 inch cutoff wheel that's kind of like a hybrid grinding cutoff wheel. It's in between thickness. It's not that 1/4 inch grinding wheel. And once again, you get really close and you don't want to go into the frame, just eat away all that metal. But when you're done cutting off all these, you're going to have a lot of metal dust in your shop unless you go outside and do it. So we're going to go away with that option, but we will clean things up. Once we use our plasma cutter to gouge these welds, then we'll come back and it'll be inevitable that we're going to have to clean it up with a flap wheel disc and probably this combination grind cutting wheel. So we're going to use this Hypotherm plasma cutter, which I love a lot. They don't unfortunately make it anymore. I don't know why, but this is their smallest one. As you see over here, it's the Hypotherm PowerMax 30. And this thing's more built for like artwork because it cuts so finely. You can see how small this tip is here, but it's really easy. We're just setting our amps also to a lower amp setting so that we're less prone to cutting into the frame with too much power. So once we get started here, we're going to do a close-up, but the object is to hold this nozzle kind of pointed towards the frame, but just ever so slightly away so that we're not going into the frame. And we're going to take maybe a couple passes and gouge it, but it just takes a steady hand and going into it. As you can see, we already did a pass. I showed Terra, she did a pass right here, I did one right here. And we're still like a 1/16 inch away. So we're gonna do this again and show you guys what it looks like. So now I'm a little closer. I got about a 16 inch worth of metal to still get off. Not bad, but you see with the times you went a little fast, it ricocheted and made that weird noise. But I'm going to also turn off the amperage a little bit. So while Terra's doing the plasma cutting, I can't just stand around and do nothing. I'm not a spectator, I'm a player. I'm going to pull out the 7-inch angle grinder, and this thing's highly effective. You got to be careful though. It's gonna throw a little more dust and sparks, but I'm gonna cut close on the brackets that aren't gonna be viewed from the outside. Those we're gonna do the gouging on, and then we're gonna blend and make them nice because that's what you see. But I'm gonna cut the locations where it's easy to cut with this, basically. Alright, so I also have to mention that in some situations the cutoff wheel works best just because of the angle. Sometimes you can get it nice and planar with the workpiece that you're working with. So in this situation, it's actually easy to work with the cutoff wheel because I don't have to worry about the plasma going into the frame because this piece is really close to that. We want to cut it really close to that. So I'm able to feel with depth my blade go into there and cut through and stop just that much. And then over here on the other side of the motor bracket, right there, I was able to go planar with the frame and slide right up in there and cut all of that from the frame. And that's a little bigger weld, and so this was a clean instance to use the cutoff wheel versus the plasma cutter. The plasma cutter takes several passes with gouging, and then you got to clean it up. We'll still need to blend and clean this cut up a little bit, but just wanted to show you there are some pros and cons. And yeah, with that, there's some angles that are easier to reach. Right now, she's about to cut right down in a similar situation. Alright, yeah, that was nice. But see, that's perfect. So the little slag hits the frame. It might be burning the frame just a tad, but we'll blend it in. And if there's any areas of concern, we could patch and take care of it. So, alright, so sometimes you need a BFH or a BFC in this instance to get really creative with your demolition. So she cut right here, she cut right there. In order to get to this weld down there, you gotta probably bend it out or cut from the bottom. Just do whatever you gotta do to get the easiest approach to removing this weld. Or just use all that Twinkie eating power on your 200 pounds to bend it off. Who needs a BSC up in here? You know what I'm saying? And now we just gotta blend it and clean it up. You want another bracket removed? Twinkie power, and you get it off. So now there's just a little ridge. There you see, we still have a ridge, but it's on the surface. We didn't go into the frame much. So we're gonna grind that off, blend it, make it all nice.